Greetings and welcome to Roman of the Empire. I'm your host, Roman. We came, we saw, we kicked its ass. I saw the original Ghostbusters 37 years ago in 1984. Ghostbusters Afterlife is the sequel we deserved. A little late, but it's the one that we deserved. Ghostbusters 2, it was all right. Ghostbusters 2016 is something that leaked out of some animals behind in the woods. Not really worth mentioning. But Ghostbusters Afterlife is a movie that was made by the right people for the fans. This was directed by Jason Reitman, son of producer of the film, Ivan Reitman, who directed and wrote the original Ghostbusters. And it definitely feels like it. The opening of the film is just so great. Lots of action, lots of ghost stuff, and it's very cool. Then everything slows down for a little while, and then it just kicks into high gear again and stays on a very good pace. My dislikes of the movie are that big. Really, it's just it's a slow period, and you're gonna feel it, but then everything gets moving again. You get to see a lot of old friends in this, and this is a spoiler-free review, so I'm not gonna go into all the clever stuff that they did. I will say that you get a delightfully brief, but pretty awesome cameo from J.K. Simmons, who, again, he's good in literally everything he does. So the cast on this, and we'll go in order of what I consider to be importance. Mckenna Grace plays Phoebe, who is Egon's granddaughter. She's really the star of this film. There is no question about that, and she does a spectacular job. In her little cohort, Logan Kim plays, I want to say Lunchbox, but that's not right. Podcast. You'll have to forgive me, I've been watching the trial. So, Podcast. And those two are just superb together. They're very good. Podcast provides some very good humor. It's well delivered. And Mckenna Grace does a great job. She is very much like the granddaughter of Egon. And her sense of humor, her love of science, all the stuff is just super good. Carrie Coon plays Kaylee, Phoebe's mom. She is essentially the daughter that Egon had to leave behind because Egon had, unfortunately, some other matters he needed to attend to. Not small matters, but she never really understood that. And so she very much resented her dad. And the grandkids, of course, never knew him. They didn't even know who he was. Didn't know about the Ghostbusters and the craziness in New York back in the 80s. But all of that obviously comes to fruition. You see a lot of things in the trailer. So they don't have a lot of money. They get evicted from their apartment, and Egon has passed, and they move into his farmhouse out in the middle of nowhere. And why would Egon make a farmhouse out in the middle of nowhere? Fascinating things. The comedy in the movie is good. There's actually some good jump scare moments. The effects are good, but they are good in the sense that they also are reminiscent of the effects that were in the 1984 film. You're not getting blown away by, oh my God, it's just so much different. It's just, it's modernized good versions of those effects. I really, the soundtrack is wonderful. This is, again, it's a movie made for the fans. If you've never seen the original Ghostbusters film, I don't know what's wrong with you, and we're probably not friends. So go see that so that we can become friends, you and I, and we can enjoy our time together. But go see the movie. Go see the movie now before people will vote for you, because they're gonna, because people like to spoil things, because people are assholes. Paul Rudd is in it as well. He's a geologist trying to figure out why these seismic activity in this little town in the middle of nowhere is happening, where there are no fault lines, no fracking, no geological anomalies, which should cause it. And he's good as well. Paul Rudd is also always pretty good. His part isn't giant, but he's utilized well. Finn Wolfhard is Trevor, who is the older brother of Phoebe. He's just kind of, he's there. He's the kid from Stranger Things. That's what you're going to recognize him as. And he's fine. He's just kind of there, though. And Chelsea O'Connor plays Lucky, kind of she's, I would say, the female love interest for him. That's not really an accurate thing. They're both kids, and he's 15. She's probably about the same age. And her dad's the sheriff. And it's a fun but not really very deep interaction, but it doesn't need to be. And that's the cast that you need to be worried about. And then, like I said, though, the big star of the film, though, Mckenna Grace, blew it out of the park. Can't say enough good things about her. And really, this movie, you didn't have to try very hard to like this movie. You didn't have to think about it a whole lot. I mean, it just kind of did what it was supposed to do. It made you, as the fan, remember and love Ghostbusters and really like this follow-up 37 years later. So I was a 14-year-old kid sitting in that theater. I'm an old guy now. It is what it is. I want to say a special thanks to Gary at Nerdrotic and Mrs. Neurotic for letting me tag along with them to see this movie. You were gracious hosts, and it was a really good time. That's all I have. Go see this movie, or dogs and cats will start living together. It'll be anarchy. I am Roman of the Empire, signing off.